And the next hour is actually very important. I'm Darrell Steinberg. I'm the president of the state senate. In just about an hour, the governor is going to direct the Department of Finance to pull some level of budget trigger cuts, which will deal another blow to our higher education system, which means more cuts. We'll see in an hour, but the system, of course, is at risk. The three systems are at risk for an additional cut of $230 million. And tomorrow, in this very room, there will be a hearing looking into the recent on-campus demonstrations, which get to the heart of the frustrations and anxiety felt among college students and their families. We know that the costs of higher education are skyrocketing. Fees have gone up significantly in recent years, and we must do something about that. But too often overlooked are other costs that make higher education tough to afford. The average cost for textbooks for California college students is $1,300 every year. $1,300 every year. When compared to the current fees at the community colleges, for example, the cost of textbooks far exceeds the cost of tuition. It blows my mind. Many of California's students receive the Cal Grant B, which gives them $1,551 to cover ancillary expenses like transportation, food, and rent. For many students, the entire grant can be eaten up by textbook costs alone, leaving very little, if anything, for other critical expenses. Some students are actually dropping out because they can't afford to buy the required books. It does not have to be that way. We can do something about it now. There is, in fact, a way to provide students with the highest quality textbook for a fraction of today's costs, if not entirely for free. Using 21st century California-based technology and a decade of development and experience from top institutions like MIT, Rice University, and foundations, we know it's possible. It's called Open Education Resources, or OER. We are talking about digital textbooks that can be customized and easily updated and rearranged. Think of it in this modern era as an iTunes playlist for education. Just as you would customize your music playlist to match your mood for the day. I still use CDs, by the way. We can give professors and instructors the option to pick and choose the right mix of material. I am proposing here today that the state lead an effort to invest $25 million into the development of open source textbooks for 50 of the most widely taken lower division courses in California's public colleges and universities. I'm proposing that we call on faculty, publishers, Silicon Valley to bring their best ideas forward and compete for the opportunity to develop this top-notch material, either brand new or based on existing material. I'm proposing that every book and set of material developed through this process have a Creative Commons and open license associated with it. This allows the content to be distributed for free while giving proper attribution and credit to the developer of the materials, and gives the faculty the ability to easily mix and match customized coursework materials. I'm proposing that we take these 50 books and we put them in a virtual online library through which students and faculty can access them for free. If you still want a hard copy book, get a print version for about $20. This is what we're talking about here. This is the understandable textbook, supposedly understandable textbook, for statistics. It costs $214 at Cosumnes Community College. This collaborative statistics textbook was offered for free online, $20 for a printed version like this one at the Lake Tahoe Community College this fall. The instructor who chose this book for his class is here today, and you will hear from him in just a moment. $214, $20. PDF for free. Download or print, $8. Buy it, hardline, $20. Same introduction to the statistics course, same community college system, same credits, huge price difference. My bill will also create an Open Educational Resources Council comprised of brilliant faculty minds from the UC, from the CSU, and from the community colleges. They will determine the 50 most widely taken courses for which the open source books would be developed, would serve as a quality control mechanism for the developed open source material, and help promote this high quality, less expensive way for students to get their education. There'd be no mandate for the faculty to use these books, but when given a more affordable, a possibly free option that does not sacrifice quality, they will do the right thing for students. Now, I want to put this into some context before I introduce the others who are responsible for bringing us to this day and to the students who this will most benefit. This is not a substitute for investing more in higher education. Thank you. At our first opportunity, when this economy recovers, higher education needs to be first on our list, where we reinvest. But it's going to take some time, as you'll hear again in about an hour when the governor makes his presentation. And so there's not a whole lot in the short run that we can do necessarily about the fee issue. But let me tell you why this proposal, while not the single answer, is in fact so significant. At the community college system, look at this chart here. At the community college system, this summer, as a result of the probable trigger being pulled, fees will increase on average $240. $240. Let me get my little sheet here. The open book savings for a community college system, for a community college student for that year, will be a little less than $1,000. For the California State University system, fee increase enacted just a month ago that will go into effect in the spring will cost students about $498 on average. The open book savings, open source book savings, just a little less than $1,000. For the UC system, it's a little bit different because the fee increase was so large, $1,068 went into effect in the fall of 2011. The open source savings, again, just under $1,000. For 2 out of the 3 systems, the savings from being aggressive about giving students a high quality, less expensive option is greater than the cost of the fee increases. And in the third system, the savings almost wipes out or almost offsets the fee increase. We've got to do this, and we've got to do this now. There are so many people and groups that are here today in support who are pioneers in this technology that I want to mention. Many are available after the press conference. The Hewlett Foundation, the Gates Foundation, the Maxwell Foundation. I want to thank them for all their past work they have put into open source textbooks, making them higher quality, more affordable textbooks for the future. I want to thank Creative Commons, a worldwide foundation based here in California. They have created an open license that is being used throughout the world, making valuable educational content current, open, and accessible to anybody who wants to learn. I want to thank Osman Rashid, the CEO of Know, who I had the opportunity to meet just a moment ago. He allowed his company to take the time pro bono and build the world's first interactive Web 2.0 textbook that is available for free today on the web. Connections, housed at Rice University. This is a nonprofit repository of over 1,000 open source books available today, with over 1 million pieces of open source educational content ready for use. Bottom line is, give faculty the ability to use new technology, to take high-quality content and adapt it to their own creativity and use. Give the students a more affordable option. Let's hear from some of the people who will benefit from this legislation. I want to begin with Kelsey McQuaid, who is a student at UC Davis, obviously a campus that's been in the news quite a bit lately. Kelsey, please.
Hello. The increasing cost of tuition has prevented many students from attending college. But another cost that is burdening students at our state universities is the cost of textbooks. 4 years ago, my tuition was around $6,000. This fall, it went up to over $12,000. The scholarships and grants that I once received would cover, for my academic achievement and community involvement, would cover the cost of tuition, books, rent, and groceries. Unfortunately, as the cost of tuition soars, my financial aid and scholarships no longer cover as much as they used to. The last 2 years, I've had to take out an additional $1,000 in loans and work over 20 hours a week to cover the cost of textbooks and in increasing education costs. It shouldn't be necessary for students like me to have to sign away their futures to loan payments and work more hours than they spend in the classroom in order to purchase a textbook. It is true that students have numerous options to try to save money on textbooks, but all of them cost a considerable amount. I always buy used books and spend over 2 hours online trying to find the most affordable book and inexpensive version of my assigned textbooks, all time that I could have used studying, working, or enhancing my collegiate experience. Despite my best efforts, I still spend over $200 a quarter on textbooks, and I'm lucky. I'm a social science major, not a science major. This past quarter, I tried to cut back even more than in past years. I purchased 1 used book and rented 2 others from the UC Davis bookstore. I ordered another 2 books from an online store and decided not to purchase another 2 altogether. One of those used books cost $99. And renting books has proven to be a slightly less expensive option for some students, but it's not the solution. I spent around $21 to rent a book that costs $25 to purchase new online. And while this saved me a small amount of money, I could not keep the book at the end of the quarter. I had to return it. Another option I've used is checking out books on reserve from the library. Unfortunately, it's not guaranteed that that book will be there when I'm free to go read it. And all of these options cost students or distract them from their studies. This is a problem that affects all students, not just students at the UC or CSU. My brother Riley is in his first semester at a community college. And during his first week, he called me frantically asking what websites I used to purchase textbooks, where he could find a cheaper book. He couldn't believe that his Introduction to Philosophy textbook cost $138 when it cost him only $128 to take the class. It's simply unacceptable to expect college students to pay these exorbitant prices for textbooks. This is the perfect time for affordable textbooks. As tuition costs continue to rise, we must do something to alleviate the burden on students. That is why we are launching a petition today on change.org to support the initiative for affordable textbooks and making them a priority by creating an affordable open source online database for students to access these books. This is a real solution that will create less stress than other methods of paying for textbooks and will promote a life of learning for all students in California. Up next, Ulysses, who attends CSU Sacramento, will tell you some of his experiences with textbook affordability.
Go ahead, Ulysses.
Excuse me. Hello, my name is Ulysses. I'm a third-year student at Sacramento State University. As we heard from Kelsey, textbooks are increasing the financial burden of attending college, not only at UCs or CSUs, but community colleges. Prior to attending Sac State, I was a student paying $300 on textbooks at community college. I thought when I went to Sac State, affordable school, there would be more options for cheaper books. Unfortunately, to my surprise, the opportunity costs and books were higher. In order to cut the costs, I've had to take on additional loans, adding to my financial struggle, and I've had to take a job which takes away more time from studying. With this new legislation and the option for ebooks, it would help me save time and money during college. I'd be able to access the books on my phone and print it out if I needed to take notes or have copies for class. It would be a great benefit to all students who had to stress about how are they going to pay for books. Either they're going to pay for your books or be a month on Top Ramen, which I've done before, and I'm sure a lot of people have done. Or we've had to work 20 hours a week. I'm working 20 hours a week minimum to afford books. It's ridiculous. So yeah, I'm willing to sacrifice. We're all willing to sacrifice, but we shouldn't have to. There's a solution. Ebooks are the solution, and that's why I'm here to support this legislation and sign a petition to ask others to do the same. The time is now. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I would like to introduce Dr. Larry Green, the mathematics co-chair and statistics professor at Lake Tahoe Community College, who is using the real-life example that I described a moment ago. Dr. Green?
Thank you. I thought I'd start by giving you a picture of what my first day of class looked like last year, just 1 year ago. I hand out my syllabus, and some of you students know what it's like to be handed the syllabus. And the first thing it says after my name is the textbook, required textbook, this one. And I kind of apologize. And maybe 10 to 20% of the students, that would be the last time I'd see them. And I'm not here to make it so that my students can't afford the class. So $200, $220 a textbook doesn't work for our particular community and most communities in California. Lake Tahoe, poverty with a view, we call it. Our students are wonderful students. They're excited, and the economy is not great for anybody, and especially where we are. So the students can't afford the kind of price that this textbook has. So our department got together, and I suggested that we think about this book instead. And we changed that first day of class. So now the first day of class, I hand out the syllabus, and I say, here's the textbook. I get online. I have a little smart board behind me, and it shows the textbook, and I say, it doesn't cost you anything. Well, they say, you're joking, because that doesn't happen. They're so used to the shock of having to pay this horrible expense for the textbook that they are in celebration when they find out that they can take the class, because the students just bail. And taking the class and succeeding, getting through our educational system so that they can get a better job and have a career that they want instead of having to leave, which is what is happening to many of our students. As tuition goes up, as jobs get scarce, they can't do that. Those that do have jobs, they have to increase their hours because of the expenses, the increased tuition, and particularly the textbooks that are $220. When my students increase their hours, they don't have the time to do all the homework that I give, and I give a lot of homework. And that's what they should be doing. They should be doing homework and not spending 60 hours a week working so they can afford the cost of education that they can't really afford anyway. So when I found out about this textbook, I was able to customize it myself. I'm also a programmer, so I was able to create some online materials and do what I wanted with it. There was no copyright issues because this is public domain with a Creative Commons license, so I don't have to worry about getting permissions and all that. I can just customize, make the course the best course that I feel like I can make. So we did that this quarter. The quarter, I just turned in my finals yesterday, and I did ask all my students how it went, and I talked to the other faculty who are using this new textbook that is at no cost for the students. And we said, what do you think? Because we did it this way last year, and we did it this way this year. And we were all in agreement that not only was it free, but it was better. So we're not willing to sacrifice quality for our students because they need to have the best materials possible. But the quality's there. Being free doesn't mean you have low quality. Being free means you have better access and high quality. If it's low quality, we won't adopt it. But not all textbooks are good quality, and not all textbooks that are free are definitely good quality or have combined with all the extra resources. And that's why, as faculty, we really need to have backing from the state where they will support the cause of open educational resources so that we can have free textbooks in every area, and we can have assistance in the support and materials that it takes in the customization so that we can pass that along to our students and they can get free textbooks, which makes a gigantic difference in their educational success and their affordability of education. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Green. I can't say enough about our final speaker here, and you know him well. He's the former state senator, former majority leader, and now the president of the 20 Million Minds Foundation, and has been the guy who has done so much work to get us to this point, and an inspiration to me, senator, former senator, always a senator, Dean Flores.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll be brief. I know you probably have questions for the Pro Tem. Let me just say first and foremost, thank you to all the foundations and the work, and particularly David and Harris and others who have really helped try to formulate a policy that is open to make sure that the policies are working for students and, more importantly, provide more choice for faculty. So the goal of this entire push is to do all of that and build it on the backbone of technology. So today in the room we have some very, very, very large we're really standing on some large shoulders, and I'd like to thank Connections, and particularly like to thank No for providing a platform. And all of you should know, these books, you don't have to wait. There's a statistics book that's available today, Collaborative Statistics, that Pro Tem just mentioned. 120,000 students in our community college student take that course every year. 50,000 students take that course in UC. 50,000 students take that in CSU. And guess what? They're paying way too much. $220, you do the math. Over $30 million for one book, for one course in our system makes no sense. When you can go and get the Collaborative Statistics book today, that many folks, 200,000 plus students, and get it for free, and get an enhanced version for under $20, and get a hard copy for under $20. This is absolutely necessary, and that is just one course. Senator Steinberg is calling for 50 courses. You do the math. $25 million investment to recoup $1 billion a year in savings for students. I don't know a better investment. We're going to send Senator Steinberg to CalPERS. They need better returns because that is a return that no one in this nation can replicate. And I want you to know that you're in the midst of a very large announcement nationally. Senator Steinberg is going to lead this nation and show every state, whether it's California, Texas, Florida, or New York. He's the first to say it can be built, it can be done, and the small investment will be recouped, I can guarantee you, if less than 5% of students use it in the first year alone. That's good math, and more importantly, it's good investment. For the students, I want you to know Senator Steinberg is giving you a voice. Dr. Green said it best. He goes to class the first day, he hands the students a prescription, just like a doctor would. And guess what the students do? They go to the pharmacy, it's called a bookstore, and they fill it. They have no choice. There's nothing else out there for them to pick because the professor has made that choice. So Senator Steinberg calling for 50 courses in the lower division are giving faculty the ability to pick something better, to pick something smarter, to pick something that has higher quality yet less cost and build on technology. What would it be like if every student went to class like Dr. Green and you sat there and you go, your book is online. Go to kno.com. Go to this site. Go to a site where you can pull these books down. Know your cost structures, and more importantly, get your book for free. What would it be like if Dr. Green could find a library of books that he could actually pull down and offer to students for under $20? Senator Steinberg is not only offering students a voice, but he's offering faculty a choice. More choice for faculty means more academic freedom. More choice for faculty means faculty get to make better choices, and they can tell a book publisher, I'm welcome to take your book, but do better. Live by the Steinberg rule. Provide it for under $20. We can do that. And let me also say and end by simply saying Senator Steinberg is also offering California and the nation a challenge. A challenge. There's an RFP process in this bill. It's not $25 million and come get it. He's saying to Silicon Valley, 200 miles away, the folks that are building all of the things that students are using today, whether it's Twitter and Facebook or Google, whether it's the things that they're using in class, whether it's Snow, whether it's Cisco, the giants of technology are just 200 plus miles away. And he's offering them a challenge. Build me a better book. Build me a book for under $20. Build me a book that students can download. Give me a book that faculty can pick. That's a challenge. And I think he's also challenging government itself. I think he's telling us, and I used to work in this building, think differently. Think bigger. Think broader. And so as a foundation president now, I want to say that I am very thankful that we have Senator Steinberg leading this charge, because at the end of the day, you, the students, will win. The faculty will have more choice. The state will save money. And more importantly, students in the future won't have to ever face a $250 book right at the register as they start to walk out. And that's the reality today. So I want to thank Senator Steinberg and thank all the students for being here, and particularly Larry and the faculty members are going to be critical to this effort, and we just are very appreciative.
You still have it, Dean. That was very, very compelling, and the passion you hear from Dean Flores, from our other speakers, from the students, hopefully from me, is based on what's going on right now in California. People are hurting. The students are having a tough time. Their parents are having a tough time. The middle class is struggling. And even though we can't make miracles because of the continuing challenges we face with the economy, we must do everything we can with the tools that we have to make things better. And this is one big step. I'm very happy to answer your questions. I thank the students for coming and for being the face and the voice of what I think will be a movement to reduce the cost of instructional materials. Use technology. Give us a break. Give us a book to match our mountains, to paraphrase Senator Flores. Be happy to answer any questions. Annette? Right. No. First of all, it was an honest budget, because what we said was, based upon finance and the LAO, that we expected revenue to be billions of dollars higher by the time we got to this point in December. But we didn't then say, well, if it isn't, we'll just come back and figure it out. We actually imposed these very painful trigger cuts. We'll wait and see in the next half an hour, I guess now, what the governor announces. I'm hopeful that there'll be some relief, especially on the second trigger. I don't think that there will be relief on the first trigger, which is the higher education trigger, which again, if I may bring it right back, which makes today, you wonder, well, geez, why am I doing my thing an hour before the governor? It's actually very timely, because when we pull that trigger, if the trigger is pulled on the higher education cuts, then the students and their parents are going to be asking, well, what do we do now? If we can offset these anticipated and already voted upon fee increases with a dramatic reduction in the cost of instructional materials, that will be a welcome relief to young people and their families who are getting used to too much bad news when it comes to the state of California. It's time we offer something positive. I know it is. It's developmental disabilities. It's IHSS. Yes, all of that. I hate the fact that the trigger may be pulled. I think that just as I have hated participating and being involved, obviously, in the level of cuts we've had to make over the last several years. And I think, if I look at the PPIC poll that was leaked yesterday, or it's out today, 65% of the people are open to and favor a revenue increase. I think when it comes to cuts, the trigger is the trigger, and it's already been legislated. But beyond that, the people of California have had enough with cuts. They want relief. They want relief. They're willing to pay a little bit more to get that relief. They're certainly willing to see people who are doing quite well in the society pay a little bit more to get some relief. And so everything needs to be pointed towards November of 2012, where we will go to the voters, not have to negotiate with the minority party in a frustrating and ultimately fruitless exercise. Certainly, doors always open, but we're going to go straight to the voters. And I think that the pulling of the trigger, bad as it is, at least the first trigger, is just another piece of what people are recognizing in California. That you have to live within your means, but there has to be a balance between living within your means and gaining the revenue that you need to not decimate public investment, because it's higher education, it's K-12 education, it's California leading the way on health care that has helped make this state a great state. And higher education is the symbol, by the way. I mean, it's so timely that we're here. When people think about California, they think about our university system and our community college system. And they wonder, what's happening to it? Well, we've done damage. Now we can provide some relief. And as soon as we can on the budget side, we reinvest right back. And we go to the voters in November and ask them for some help as well. Wyatt?
Speaking of relief, I mean, obviously, though, this will cut into the bottom line of book publishers probably in a major way. Have you talked to them? Do you have any buy-in from them? And if not, how do you plan on getting this?
We have had some initial conversations with them, and of course, we will work with them. Look, every seeming problem is an opportunity. So the book publishers are used to a particular model. The world is changing. Technology, you know this in your industry. People are reading the newspapers, if they're reading them, and please, all of you, read newspapers. I mean it. They're they're very important. And watch TV, right? And listen to the radio and blah, blah, blah. But, more people are getting their information online. That's where the world is moving. And the textbook publishers, I think, have to adapt. And I think, as Senator Flores said, when you think about Silicon Valley being 200 miles away and all the innovation and expertise and creativity, the publishers can find a way to make a profit by adapting to the needs of the people they're serving and by where the society is going anyways. I hope we don't have to drag them along. I hope they'll come along. But either way, if this has to be a fight, I hope it is, and if it has to be a fight, it's a great fight. Take it on. Tori?
When would you anticipate that this was passed, the full 50 textbooks online would be up and running? How long would that process take? And where's the $25,000?
Right. Our goal is to move fast because there is great urgency, to have 25 of the books ready by the fall of 2013, and the other 25 ready by the fall of 2014. And the $25 million we're going to find, even out of the general fund, because $25 million investment for $1 billion return for students is a no-brainer. And when you think about the money we're spending on the Cal Grant B program, $100 million, and the fact that we aren't, a lot of that money is going directly to pay for the high cost of these textbooks, we will find a way. That's all. Find a way. I'll be involved in this budget process, and this is something that I will insist on as a high priority. Deficit or not, it's a no-brainer. Anybody else? Any other questions? Thank you all very, very much for coming, and this is just the beginning. Appreciate you.
Bye-bye.
Okay.